Hello and welcome to the arena. Yep, this is my free to play account. You know me, I like to have tons of decks lying about. But we don't have that option right now because our profile is at beginner levels of slim. We have absolutely nothing in Ixalan, Guilds of Ravnica, Core Set 2019 Dominaria, or Rivals of Ixalan. We have very slim pickings for this profile. This is the first month this profile existed. We are in Diamond rank right now, which is fantastic for a 1 month old account playing in historic nonetheless. Let's talk about what I am going to do to kind of build out this profile. We're really hoping for full set completion of all of the sets, but that is a very tall order. That can be achieved, but it is going to take a long time. We're not talking about a 1-year endeavor. We are talking about a 5-year endeavor. And if you want to see that happen, make sure to like this video so that it keeps interest in this kind of content rolling, as well as pushes me to continue to create this kind of content. What I did to start things off was I used my original economy to make a deck that I think is very competitive and also very fast. Of course, we are talking about Azorius artifacts in Historic. By turn 3 or 4, you should be winning the game. If you're not, you should at least be turning the corner to where you could win the game within the next couple of turns. The reason I chose this particular deck is it runs off of 7 rares as well as our companion. So 8 rares altogether for our creature base. And we started focusing on building out our rare lands. We got 2 Seer Chrome Coasts here for Hallowed Fountains. And any other things that we're going to be crafting for this particular deck is probably going to be rare lands. Or lucky to get a nice little card or 2 in here. Yeah, it's a best of 1, guys, mostly. There are some things in best of 3, but that's only if I'm sick of playing in best of 1. It's not a very good sideboard at all, but we have very few cards. So, Coffee Stout, how are you going to get cards? Well, there are a couple of revenues where we can go to actually collect cards, and we're going to talk about the 2 main predominant ways first, and then we're going to talk about what I'm personally going to do, mostly because the grind is part of my nature, baby. First, if you are on a free-to-play account, you could buy the newest pack over and over again. In this case, it would be Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. Now, you have to purchase 10 packs in order to receive a golden pack. Golden packs are very nice and they are very strong, but there is a limit on how effective they can be based off of there's no way to actually gain more rewards than what you would just get from this. There's also no way to ramp coins. The only way to really get more gold is through your daily wins and your daily quests right down here. 500s and 750s. Those are the 2 that you could get. And if you get a 500, we always swap it. But here's the thing. This is finite. There's only so many coins you can get. There is a limit to how many cards you could actually collect doing this. For that reason, there is an alternative strategy to actually collecting cards, and that is going to be premier drafts after about 2 months of the account and quick drafts. The reason why I prefer drafting over buying packs is that you get gems as well as getting the cards themselves. The cards themselves to me is not the supreme overarching amazingness of drafting. It is the gems, converting coins into gems so that you could buy the mastery pass if you do so choose is pretty strong. It's pretty powerful, and if you get to this mastery pass, you are going to be getting 1,200 of your gems back, because up to level 58, you are going to be getting at least some sort of monetary award by completing this track. You also get a lot of rares and especially mythic cards, which are the true bottleneck in Magic the Gathering Arena if you want to go for set completion. Therefore, if we are drafting and we find a mythic, we are going to draft it. And We are going to try not to craft any mythic cards. As you can see, I have 8 mythic wild cards available that I am not going to crack until I build my big bestie awesome deck, because on this track we could actually get all kinds of rare and mythic cards. Therefore, we don't want to be crafting things, especially in Lord of the Rings, until we have unlocked this track. That is for full optimization. What I am doing is for full optimization of what we are going to do. Are we going to have a good time in the arena crafting new decks and this and that? Not on this profile. This profile is going to basically be getting 15 wins a day and slowly building out an economy due to drafting. Another reason I like drafting over just buying packs is you get a real feel for the archetype that you are going into. It gives you a real feel for the cards and how they're supposed to operate, at least in a limited format. It also allows us to play a different deck rather than the same old Azorius Artifacts deck that we have in front of us now. We don't want to destroy our economy by crafting every new mythic, every new rare that comes along. Therefore, we are going to just run this, get our 15 daily wins. Once we have at first, right now, once we have 500 coins, which is right around the corner, I'm going to go into a draft and collect more gems. Yeah, I went into a couple extra drafts with this account with gems, and they didn't go too great. Therefore, I am grinding it out again. But that's not a big deal. Am I a big proponent of saving for the next set? Well, yes. Yes and no. It depends on what you really want. If you want to play in Explorer, if you want to play in Historic, it's up in the air with whether drafting the newest set is very important. If you want to play in Standard, however, drafting the newest set is the most important, because you're going to be getting cards from Dominaria United, March of the Machine Aftermath, Phyrexia All Will Be One, and these are the only sets that you really care about. I want to play in Explorer and Historic, though, because it gives me more longevity to my cards. This deck right here is 100% illegal in Standard. There are some cards here from Standard, if you recognize Michiko's Reign of Truth, and other things that have recently rotated, like Ingenious Smith and Portable Hull. Other than that, this deck is all either Explorer-oriented cards or Historic-oriented cards. And, of course, Innovative Meta Tech, because it's a broken card in Alchemy. We're going to run it because we need to run the broken stuff, because I don't have any rares to spare. Right. So, drafting allows me to play a different deck while I am trying to collect rares and mythic wildcards so that I could build my second large deck. If you are looking at Explorer decks, top Explorer decks in Magic the Gathering Arena, then you will see that there is a wide variety of decks and archetypes to choose from. In Standard, Dimir mid-range is right around 20% of the meta, whereas in Explorer, that deck doesn't show up till down with the Dimir Rogues down here, and other than that, we don't see much in the way of Dimir being played at all, according to MTGDecks.net. What does this mean for us going forward? Well, if we want to focus on Standard, we would be focused on doing some sort of Dimir build with a Sheoldred the Apocalypse, with your Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor, probably some Planeswalkers. Oh yeah, definitely you got to go Kaido. I would be trying something like this and trying to build those guys out. And look at that, we have 8 mythics, so we could actually do that. But then the 4 mythics here is going to throw us back a bit, right? So I would be doing something like that. But the problem is that those cards are only going to be really viable in one format and one format only. You can make an argument that Sheoldred is good for all formats, and I would 100% agree with you. Gix Yawgmoth Praetor is decent in most formats, and so is Kaito. So you really wouldn't be burning your wild cards, but because those archetypes aren't played nearly as much outside of standard, it's kind of not going to quite work out the way you would hope. You would only be crafting more things for standard, which is fine, which is great. Just for what I want to be doing, that's not it. I want to be playing an Explorer, I want to be playing in Historic, and show that a free-to-play account can be very effective in those formats. Third and fourth most. Once I have a deck that I am confident will win very regularly, this deck is not quite up to par yet because we do have the Spectrum Sentinels in here because they were cheap and I could craft them. We do have too many basic lands in here, and these Razortide Bridges kill us more often than they save us because, you know, they come in tapped, and we all know tapped lands coming into the battlefield are terrible. Ergo, there is some more upgrading that we have to do on this deck before I could take it to the final stage of this profile, which is going to be either Historic events or Explorer events. I would highly recommend doing best of 3 because even though it's more expensive, you are allowed to play all 5 net matches no matter what. So if you lose the first 3 rounds, you still have 2 matches to try to get 2 wins and get some of your gems back as well as 2 packs. The price of those packs would be very expensive indeed if you only won 2 matches, but at least you get some compensation back. Why do I like these events? Well, you get 2 packs from a random non-standard set in MTG Arena. What that means is you win 3 matches, you get 600 gems. So for the price of 150 gems, you get 2 random packs from all of this stuff. And yeah, sure, if you are looking for specific cards, that's not going to be weighted to find specific cards. But I would also say that you should not be looking for specific cards when opening packs anyway. The main power of packs comes from this wheel right here, the wild card wheel. And that's where we're going to get most of our cards that we're going to be crafting. Most of the decks that we're going to be crafting is going to be from these anyway. Yes, sure, it's always awesome to open up a Shieldred the Apocalypse. It's always awesome to open up Orcish Bowmasters, which I did with this profile, thankfully. But for the most part, we're going to be crafting things with the wild cards that we acquire along the way. That is my one big caveat with golden packs. If you want my honest opinion, you don't get a lot of wild cards. Whenever you go into the historic events and the drafts, you get a lot of wild cards, especially if you play very well. Let's go to the Premier Draft. Premier Drafts are much better than quick drafts in almost every way. First off, the AI kind of takes all the rares, even if it's not the best card in the pack for their deck. Regular player will not. So if you're kind of rare drafting, you want to be doing that, looking for those opportunities. And usually it's in colors of your choice. I do pass up a lot of rares though, because usually I'm doing this for wins. Why? Well, for 1,500 gems, you could get into a Premier Draft. If you get 3 wins, just 3 wins, you get to keep the cards. No, 4 wins. I'm sorry. If you get 4 wins, you get 3 extra packs. Not only do you get to keep the packs that you drafted during the rounds, you get 3 extra packs, which turns the wheel 3 times whenever you're looking at that wild card wheel. You also get 1,400 gems back. So for the price of 100 gems, you get 3 drafted packs and 3 extra packs that you could open up. Also, commons and uncommons that you draft and you have more than 4 copies of in your collection, you will get Vault Progress. Vault Progress is something that has not been accomplished on this profile yet, it being such a new account, but eventually you do get a couple extra rares and 1 extra mythic whenever you open the vault. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Now let's talk about why I'm doing that over buying packs and getting the gold packs. First off, buying 10 of these would be fine, right? it would be perfectly fine. But I actually really enjoy drafting. I'm not great at drafting, but I do thoroughly enjoy it. Let's say that I spend 5,000 coins. It advances this 5. It advances the wheel 5. So we don't get a golden pack. Those 5,000 coins cannot be used for the mastery pass at all. They cannot be used to get into more drafts, etc., etc. And let's say that you did get your 4 wins on the draft, and then you lost the other rounds. Well, if you get the 4 wins, then you get almost all of your gems back. You get 3 packs, so you get 6 packs for 100 gems. Phenomenal. Let's say, though, that you play a little bit over 500, but not much, and you get 3 wins in most of these drafts, and on occasion 4, and on occasion 2. Well, if you're getting 2 wins, then it's probably better to buy packs. But once you get into 3 wins, and you go between 3 and 4 wins all the time, you're going to do very, very well, especially with an occasional 5 or 6 wins. That's a lot of packs that can be opened. And it is a beautiful thing whenever you open up that many packs, advance your wheel so much. I've completed full sets for about $40 just doing drafts in Premier Drafts. You can do it. It is very possible. But it is true that drafting is not everybody's strong suit. Therefore, that's why the packs are there, that you could buy the packs and then you could get a gold pack. But if you are not familiar with drafting, I highly recommend going in and practicing drafting. You could even draft in real life and people will kind of help you out a little bit on exactly what you should be drafting, what you shouldn't be drafting. Well, maybe if they're nice, right? Or, once you have your deck, you play a couple rounds with them. It's $20 in real life. It's really a good time. I go and draft usually twice a month. But that's only if time allows. But dumping in currency to learn how to draft well, check out some tutorials on YouTube. I'll link a couple channels that do really well kind of explaining their draft picks, why they're drafting certain cards, how to draft certain sets, etc., etc. I'll link it down below. Definitely go check them out. Definitely a stronger drafter than I will ever be, but you know what? I learned a lot from him, so I'm really, really glad to watch him and to pump his channel just a little bit. Anyway, getting back to this. Right. So, we're collecting 15 wins a day. We're primarily drafting when we have the opportunity. And for the most part after that, we're either going in, getting it done really fast with Azorius artifacts. If I am bored with that, I will come over and go into starter deck duels and just play around with any of these decks here. Get a couple wins out of it. It's no big deal. Or even further, I will come jump into Middle Earth and play whatever deck I have set up. And I can play infinite amount of rounds here for free, which is fantastic until that event ends. And I'm going to guess that this ends whenever the new set comes out, which is 100% fine. Other than that, yeah, I'm just grinding out wins every day, drafting. Whenever I have a good draft, I will present it to you guys, and I will try to do one of these update videos about every month or so, show where the progress is on this profile. I have a theory that this can all be done for 100% free to play if you maximize your economy and don't chase the hype with new decks that are coming down the line, new cards that are coming down the line. Stick with what you know is good and expand on it. We're going to start our expansion of this profile with Azorius artifacts in Historic, and we will see where the next deck leads us. Thank you for joining today. This is an introduction to what this profile is going to be, where we are going forward with it, and we will give steady updates of this particular profile going forward. Thank you for joining today. Make sure that you have liked the video and subscribed to the channel, and join me next time with the next delve into free-to-play Magic the Gathering account. Bye.